very brief here. Maybe I'll try to finish in time. So, at the very end of my talk, I'll combine the two talks, and I'll have something to say about the past. So let's move on here. So I chose this topic because obviously it is very close to Vikas's heart. And I know that there's been talks on this topic in the past. So let me try to do justice here and see how I do. We are talking about science and scientists, and of course, science has to do with conceptualizing and theorizing about how the physical world works. And one of the most important things in science is that we also have to invent clever instruments so we could actually get measurements. Many centuries ago, the father of Western science had pointed out, Galileo Galilei, that measures what is measurable and make measurable what is not so. And of course, to measure something, you have to invent new instruments. A few centuries later, the famous British scientist Humphrey Davy, by the way, Humphrey Davy was a mentor to Faraday, who invented clever instruments to discover the very important idea of electromagnetic fields. And Humphrey Davy said nothing tends so much to the advancement of knowledge as the application of a new instrument. And so you see, Galileo had his telescope to try to convince a rich king to give him more money to build a better telescope. Newton had his spectrometer. And today, of course, we have large instruments. We're talking about particle accelerators, physical radiation sources, large lasers, intense atomic lasers, telescopes, satellites, multi-charge deep underground experiments. And then, of course, we have medium-sized and laboratory scale experiments, all the way down to tabletop experiments. And all these different instruments, we have been able to probe from the very distant parts of the universe and from the galactic scale all the way down to 10 to the minus 18 meters, which is the atom meter, and even beyond. Today's colliders probably can reach down to 10 to the minus 20 meters, to the structure of the material world. And also the nature's time scales all the way from physics, chemistry to biology, from milliseconds to nanoseconds to actually femtoseconds to attoseconds. And when you go into the nuclear matter and string cosmology, go to 10 to the minus 28, 10 to the minus 36 seconds. Maybe someday we can reach those time scales, but today we have been able to reach up to attoseconds, 10 to the minus 18 seconds, and slightly shorter time scales. When you talk about subatomic physics, all these advances of distances down to 10 to the minus 18 meters to time scales down to an attosecond have been made possible by various particle accelerators, which started out over 100 years ago, with small handheld cyclotrons to large scale, many hundreds of meters long linear accelerators. And today we're talking about a 27-kilometer large hadron collider. If we're talking about a future facility, which will be hundreds of kilometers in seconds. I have tried to highlight here with a red asterisk the type of accelerator facility that Vikas has been involved in. The cyclotrons, of course, the famous propeller cyclotron here, the superconducting cyclotron propeller. Talk about radioactive ion beam, which is the superconducting linear accelerators. There are, of course, have been the ion collider, FAIR, which is heard about from Paulo, and of course LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. And so there has been quite a bit of involvement from Vikas's side on accelerators from the very small to the very large. The large number of physicists, engineers, experimental physicists, and theoretical physicists have actually worked over the last 100 years and come up with something what I simplify as a standard modern mandala. I grew up in the mountain district of Darjeeling, so I'm very familiar with the word mandala. So it's a very simplified version of the standard model, something six quarks, up, down, charge, straight, top, bottom. The electrons, the tau, mu, and the electron, and then the neutrinos that come with it. And then there are the force-carrying gauge bosons, the photons, the gluons, the W and C bosons, and then Higgs sits right in the middle. Now, this model has been established. The latest discovery was the Higgs boson, of course, in 2013. The process 13 you see here comes from Laird, and Professor Higgs actually shared Nobel Prize for this major discovery. So it kind of precipitated this kind of model. However, two major things are still very poorly understood. There is this mysterious Higgs particle, mechanism of how this particle actually interacts with itself, self-coupling, how it gives rise to masses of the elementary particles, spontaneous symmetry breaking that gives rise to this. And then there are these elusive neutrinos. The particles with an identity problem that the flavor eigenstates of the neutrinos and the mass eigenstates do not match up. So there's a Kabuki game as it travels along the line, showing the different things each time you catch it. To understand the Higgs, of course, people are talking about very, very large colliders in the future. The sun is a plan for future circular colliders, that plans in China. International linear colliders have been thought about in the past. And of course, you have measured neutrinos. There have been a long-standing, very mature program in Japan where you get neutrinos from a reactor and you send them very far, long distances in the underground detectors, Y2K in Japan. And then there is the accelerator-driven program in the United States called MMAP, which is also participated in by our European colleagues. I'm going to show a little bit of this facility because this is where India made a major contribution. So this is actually a very, very highly intense beam of microcosmos. And these programs, of course, eventually through various decay channels of pions and muons, eventually lead to neutrinos. And the phase space of the program is mapped into the phase space of the neutrinos. And these, because the beams are very intense, you see a lot of nonlinear pull-out interactions with distort the beam, which changes the phase space of the neutrinos. So it's a very challenging technological device. It has a throw in space of about 1,800 kilometers from the Fermilab site to the distant underground detector in South Dakota. But this facility that produces these neutrinos are actually built on superconducting radio frequency technology. And many countries are contributing to it. There's of course the United States, and then Italy, then the United Kingdom, and we see a large number of different types of these prior modules, superconducting prior modules operating at 1.9 to 2 GW. We've actually fabricated in India. There's a large Department of Atomic Energy collaboration. So this is actually no small feat. It's a big international project that India is participating, and I must say that various institutions in GAE, including VECC in Kolkata, have contributed to this development. Now when we jump from there and see what we try to do with these large accelerators is try to push our time scale closer and closer to the Big Bang where it all started. There is this so-called standard Big Bang cosmology, or lambda CDM model, where some 13 billion years ago something must have happened, a singular point in time where a lot of energy density quickly created and space and time emerged from this interaction. Inflation probably took place at a speed faster than the speed of light, and then it started to expand, and up to a certain point the hot matter was in the form of plasma, the light could not come out. And then about 300,000 years since the Big Bang, light has started to come out, and we see today the background of cosmic microwave radiation. But in order to get to the actually high densities in the laboratory, so that you could understand the actual origins of of the cosmology. It's a daunting task. It is almost impossible to generate the energy density that you need to really get any closer to the Big Bang than you're already doing today with LHC. And maybe we do the next generation collider, but it will be very, very difficult to do it if you want it. But one interesting point that I want to make is that the signals from that Big Bang are already there. They're all single-sided space-time. They may be attenuated, but they may be very weak. But there are tremors and fossils of what happened 13.8 million years ago, even today. And so instead of trying to go by brute force, we like to actually look for remnants and fossils left over from it. And this is why I call the term cosmic archaeology. We have to be more we have to be clever to actually detect very small and very weak signals left over from the Big Bang. And in some sense, if you look at it, if you look from the Planck scale to today, everything was entangled originally. And today, although they have attenuated and they have decohered significantly, there are still remnants of actual signal left in today's space-time that we should be able to extrapolate back to 13.8 million years ago. Now, unlike the standard model of particle physics, a standard model of cosmology or a Big Bang cosmology or the Landau-Celier model actually is far from standard, and there are very many things there that are just very conjecture, theoretical, conceptual terms without any experimental verification today. Inflation, people talk about it as if it is given, but nobody knows whether it actually happened, whether space-time really inflated at peak when that will be done. What are the signatures, and can we see any sign of inflation through gravitational waves or so? We do not know. The large amount of matter we do not see today is called dark matter. Are these really macroscopic hidden black holes, or are they really some kind of modified gravitational force? Or are they really new particles? If you look at the energy density of dark matter, it's very large. 75% of matter is dark, and energy density corresponds to 10 kilovolts per meter. Non-trivial number. Then we observe that the universe is expanding faster than we expected. There's an accelerated rate of expansion. And is there some physics behind this vacuum energy that is pushing the universe faster than we expected? Or is it just a manifestation of a fundamental constant, called the cosmological constant? If you imagine this hidden force to be electromagnetic, we do not know what it is, but this energy density of this force tends to be about 10 volts per meter, which is actually not that small a field. You can actually detect it in an undergraduate laboratory with an experiment with a squid detector. And then the whole question of the model of cosmological evolution. Is it just one Big Bang and forever expanding? Was there a big crunch before the Big Bang? What came before? What comes after? Or is it the conformal cyclic cosmology that Sir Roger talked about in the talk for today? We yet simply do not know. So it's good to be a bit contrarian and also look for signals where we could find fossils and remnants. In this connection, let me plug in two things from my friends. First of all, a lot of the remnants and fossils left over from supernovae, neutron stars, we can learn a lot about the cosmology. And a recent book has come out by my colleague, Thomas Carr, his student, he talks a lot about supernova physics, neutron star physics at an accessible level. And then my good friend, Shubhi Sarkar from Oxford, most recently wrote a very good critique of the standard model of cosmology. He named it Heart of Darkness. I love it. And if you read this article, you will see that there are a lot of loose thinking in the cosmology community. And there's a lot of unknowns in this field. So in order to shed more light, you need to really grow these weak tremors and very weak signals from the early universe. And there are plenty of examples of this. talked about dark matter, we talked about dark energy, then we call it gravitational wave background, and this would be at the level of 10 to the minus 25 in relative strain. Space-time is vibrating at this level of 10 to the minus 25 meters at a frequency could be from millihertz to hertz. There are Hawking points that Sir Roger talked about in his content. So these are all remnants, and these are all to be archaeologically looked at and sensed. Many of these you cannot do in a high energy particle accelerator or collider. Here I have a controversial topic. Let's think about how did we get here to the colliders. Early in the 20th century, physicists, engineers, technologists carried emulsion plates on their back, hiked up tall mountains, or sent balloons up in the sky, and they recorded cosmic ray showers and kept it high in the phenomena. Our own Homi Bhabha actually studied high energy cosmic rays and advanced the high energy physics by formulating Bhabha's scattering in 1940s. Now, it became very hard to carry these plates or send balloons, so people thought, why can't we create these energies in the laboratory by being clever about it? But this was the Second World War, a lot of microwave technology, radio wave technology was coming into being, so we got the emergence of cyclotron, linear accelerators, synchrotron, storage rings, and colliders came into being. And these are all enabled by now a very old and mature technology, which is the World War II technology of radars, microtrons, lightstorms, and so on. As you see, today, to contemplate creating this kind of energy density to go further back in time, closer to the Big Bang, is almost daunting. It requires the resources of the entire globe in much. But if you are a bit smart about it, and instead of going brute force by creating it, everything's already there. Mother Nature has done the highest energy experiment already, 13.8 billion years ago, and the signals are all there. We need to have better hearing aids and better signals to actually find them. And the question is, do we have this technology of detecting very weak processes and fade signals and detect the very leftovers? And my answer is yes. Today, in this century, in the 21st century, we actually have new emerging technology from quantum technology using quantum entanglement and quantum information that will actually tell us a lot more than what we could do in the past. So let me introduce a little bit. I will not be able to go too much into it. It's quite a detailed topic. I did give a talk at the 75th celebration of Tata Institute, and I will visit India for 4 months in late calendar year this year to keep my Infosys appointment there in Bangalore. I'll be giving a lot of talks on it, but let me introduce the topic just to articulate your session. Quantum sensors actually depend on a phenomenon called quantum entanglement, and this technology has the potential of reaching much, much higher precision than simply using photo emission or ordinary quantum mechanical devices. Why is it so? It's because it depends on cleverly coupling unnecessary degrees of freedom. Not important degrees of freedom, 2 degrees of freedom that you want to actually measure very precisely. So you can squeeze important information in the parameters that you want to study more at the cost of scattering all unnecessary information into the degrees of freedom that you don't care about. And so, typical quantum mechanical limits are quantum recoil. If you look at typical quantum phenomena, the recoil gives significant uncertainty in the energies of particles. So, with this squeezing technology or 0.9 reduction technology, technologies of transporting the quantum states and transducing them, detecting single photons, and all these techniques now actually can give you a precision in measurement that at 4 to 10 orders of magnitude beyond what it has been able to do today. I'll give you one simple example of detection of a radio wave, for example. If you look at the two quadrature components, the sine and cosine, or amplitude and phase, typically in the signal phase space it has a footprint. The footprint has a certain minimum area. It's quantum phase space area of half h bar, comes from the uncertainty principle, and then the other half a kT, kT being the Boltzmann noise, the common noise, is so one photon per resolved mode, even at peak of the 0 minutes, so you cannot even do that. But in all these squeezing techniques, you can actually squeeze the phase of the signal so that you can detect only the amplitude. And so the operation that does it is an operation that actually commutes with the Hamiltonian. So it preserves the photon count, and you can actually detect the photon without destroying it. And this is called quantum non-dualization technique, and it is used in all quantum sensors. And if you use it, for example, in detecting a signal, I'll give you an example here that if you do it, let us say, at a degree of 2 degrees Kelvin, the red curve tells you that it's still way above the fundamental quantum limit, which is the dashed curve here. If you use this technology at, let us say, 100 nanokelvin, you get the purple curve, and even 30 nanokelvin, like dilution refrigeration, you actually get the blue curve, which is way beyond the quantum limit. So you actually have reached the fundamental limit and go below. So these quantum limited amplifiers can be employed by putting various technologies of quantum non-evolution technique into quantum sensors. And when we talk about all the very small signals, if there is a very small signal of a dark matter particle, whether it is a hidden sector photon, a very light, a particle of light which is hidden, it does not show up as ordinary photon, or whether it's axion or so on, you can actually detect these very weak signals in a radio frequency cavity with a qubit, with a quantum sensor inside it, and you can detect the appearance of a dark matter particle inside the cavity or not, with a degree of 10 to the minus 25 or 10 to the minus 19 relative sensitivity. You can also detect by atomic interferometer, which are again quantum sensors that utilize quantum interferometry, entangled quantum states of atomic samples of strontium or cesium. You can go to 10 to the minus 12 to 10 to the minus 13 G per square root of Earth as an acceleration. And maybe one can detect primordial gravitational waves from the Big Bang, or if there is some other astrophysical sources out in space